Hello and welcome to Neighborhood Update. Today we will be having a conversation with the new regional manager of Big Brother, Big Sister of SouthCoast and Brockton, a program which has existed for many years, and we are going to speak to the new manager to find out what the needs are and what's going on with Big Brother and Big Sister in our area. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you, Marci.
So, as I said in the opening, I have always remembered Big Brother, Big Sister programming in the city of New Bedford. Even as a young child, I knew of some older family members that would spend time with their little brother. So it's good to know that these long-standing programs are still going strong. And congrats to you and welcome in your new role.
Thank you.
But I'm sure part of the reason that you're here today is to talk about some of the needs.
Yes.
Because these programs, many of these programs rely heavily on volunteer support. And volunteerism is down, I think, across the board. So talk to us about that. What is your role as regional manager of SouthCoast and Boston? I would imagine that you're doing a lot of traveling, driving. So tell me about that and catch us up to speed on what's going on with Big Brother, Big Sister of Mass.
Sure. So just to remind folks, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, we provide one-to-one mentoring for youth. And so that's where we provide a carefully picked out caring adult, and we craftily match them with a child who has recognized that they would like to have a mentor. My role as the regional manager of the SouthCoast and Brockton is to activate these communities. These are communities that we've not necessarily had such a strong presence in the last 5 to 6 years, and we want to reactivate those communities because, as you said, they were been here. We had a history. There's a lot of different reasons. COVID is one of them why volunteering has gone down. I think we're seeing a lot of folks kind of step back from volunteering and wanting to volunteer and take a little bit more time to themselves. And I think now is the time to step out and see what's out in your community and see what the community needs. And right now, one of the things we're hearing a lot from parents is that their student and young person needs a mentor and would really benefit from having another person, another caring adult in their life to be there.
And there's no surprise there because our children have been through so much. You mentioned COVID. We know of the struggles that many young people went through, the isolation, not having activities that they were used to as part of their daily routine. And I also think of just social media and computers and that whole world, which is a world of isolation too. And so when I think of all of that, if ever there was a need for mentorship, is now. There's probably a tremendous need for it. How do you get your program participants? Do parents just call up, or do you do outreach to guidance counselors, to schools? How does that happen?
We have a range, so we do outreach to guidance counselors. We have a partnership with the New Bedford Housing Authority, and so they actually help feed to one of our programs that's in the schools. We have a program at Kearney Academy, and so New Bedford Housing supports that, as well as our program at UMass Dartmouth. But we really are just a word of mouth in New Bedford, honestly. It's really getting the word out that we are here, we're available, and parents reaching out to us through our website, through social media, through our media posts. They see the name and they know our history. It's our 75th year of expertise in providing our services to young folks, so they know that we have historical knowledge and some expertise behind the work that we're doing. And so that's how we've got some folks reaching out to us. And then in my role, I'm hoping to be here. I'm hoping that people invite me to things. I'm looking in the community events and just want to be there and be present so folks know that we're around.
Well, and that is actually how you and I met.
Yes.
I was participating in outreach for the Department of Community Services, tabling, and our tables were actually, we were neighbors.
Yes.
On that day. Our tables were next to each other, and I mentioned this show is part of some of our outreach, and here you are, and now you're in my database, so I'll let you know of other things that are going on.
Thank you.
But you're right. We do a lot of collaborative work in this community, a lot of outreach and networking. So, and hopefully you like it here. Hopefully you like South Coast.
I can't imagine someone who wouldn't. If you just drive through the town, it's stunning, it's beautiful, it's warm, it's completely rich with culture. There's so much that the South Coast and New Bedford specifically has to offer folks. And I think that's something that parents are also seeing, is that they, kind of to go back to our comment earlier about COVID, they want their kids out there in their communities.
Absolutely.
They want them to be seeing
those
it.
Computers.
Exactly.
Yes. And I so agree. I'm biased because I'm a native here, but yes, this area is a real gem. Mm-hmm. So what are the ages that you would be looking for mentors?
So generally, if you're 18 or older, you can sign up to be a mentor. We don't have an age range. It's really 18 or older. You can apply to be a volunteer mentor. You can be working, you can be out of work, you can be retired. There's not really a category. We do have pretty rigorous interviews and selection process,
which is needed.
It's
I'm
very
sure.
needed. It's one of our biggest priorities is safety, so we put safety at our first. So when you apply to volunteer, you go through all of their interviews. We try to get as much information from you as possible, and that's really just to get to know you, get to know what your interests are, get to know where you live, get to know what your hobbies are, what are some things that you like to do, and what's your social life. And that's really so we can match you the best with a child in the community who also has similar interests, whether they're actively doing that, curious about it, curious about different professions. We really like to try and find people of a range of different professions.
You are trusting someone's child with a stranger, essentially, so it is important that all of those safeguards are in place. What is the age of the mentees? Mm-hmm. What would the age of the children be?
So our kiddos are from 7 years old to 12 years old. That's when they can start in the programs. And we try to ask for a 1-year commitment from volunteers. And so you've got that age range, but once you're matched, we hope and we try to nurture that match for as long as that match goes on to. We usually kind of celebrate those and end those matches in the early 20s of a child's age, but matches can go on if they have been matched well and they're moving on forward well. We like to keep that match going because a mentor doesn't have to just be a here and there. That's not what a mentor is. A mentor is a long-term, committed, caring person.
Absolutely. I know many of my friends are retired teachers, and so many of them say the feeling that they get when they're walking around the city and some young adult comes up to them, "Hello, Mrs. So-and-so." You never forget that teacher that was your favorite teacher. Mm-hmm. And it also makes me think of a quote that I refer to often by Maya Angelou. You may forget what someone says or what they do, but you never forget how someone makes you feel.
Yeah.
So mentorship is hugely, I think it's everything, actually. When you think of people who are confident, who are successful in their lives, everyone has somebody that was a mentor to them, if not their parents, mm-hmm. or in addition to their parents, other people that inspired them and encouraged them along the way. So you and I think this is all lovely and this is all needed and wonderful. What causes people to hesitate? What do you think is the hesitation?
Oh, I don't have time. How can I relate to a 7 or 12-year-old? They're so different from me. I just can't see myself as a mentor. I myself need a mentor, which I definitely can relate to. And I think the way we make mentoring is so accessible. When you become matched with your little, you're immediately paired with a match support person, and that person has access to different resources, as well as just is there to support you. So if you are struggling to connect with your 7 to 12-year-old, chat with your match support person, and they can say, hey, have you heard of this new thing or this new game? And they really try to work together with that person. Our commitment is 1 year. And I think to a lot of people, they're like, 1 year, I can barely commit to like a month of new habit changing. In that 1 year, we're really asking for an outing with a young person, about 2 hours, 2 to 3 times a month. So it's really only 48 hours in the whole year committed to volunteering. So when you take it into
really
that
minimal.
tiny, small of a breakdown, it's 2 days out of your year. So do you really not have time? I think there's time.
That I'm surprised myself. I didn't know that it was that minimal amount of time. But also with that, if a person is really enjoying their mentee and they really like this young person and want to spend more time with them, are they able to do that, and how does that work?
Yes, so we will never close a match unless there are different circumstances, sometimes a little move, sometimes a big gets a new job. We ask, as I said, people to have that 1 year commitment. And we do a check-in after that 1 year has been reached, and we say, would you like to continue? And we do that every 6 months. And that's just to also make sure that the match is progressing well and that they're still feeling like there's similarities, they're still feeling that they're connecting well with each other. They're feeling like their activities are meaningful or at least just fun. But we never want to close a match just because they reached the 1 year mark.
And can they stay with them beyond the years? Let's say that the person, my mentee, was 7 and we were really relating well to each other, and I could see the value or that I was bringing to this young person's life, and I decided, I want to do it the next year and the next year. Would the mentor be able to do that?
So we work very closely with parents, and as long as the parents and the whole family feel comfortable moving forward, we want to encourage the match to continue. We want to encourage the relationship to continue. If you moved away but you still wanted to keep in contact, you wouldn't necessarily be affiliated with us anymore.
It would be another program.
It would be something else, but we would again encourage you to be in contact with the parents, and that would be how you could continue that mentoring relationship.
So you said safety is always so important. So in engaging in activities with the children, you said everything is with the parents. So is this just through word of mouth? Is there anything in writing? Is there a document, like a permission slip or something like that? How does that work?
All activities go through parents, so the bigs do tell the parents what they're going to be doing, and then each month every match gets assessed and they get a review of what they've done. And that all does get documented in our system, our database system. So all of their outings and their activities are documented, especially if they're outings that we have offered either like specialized tickets to, or we're having specific events, we'll track that in that way.
So even if there was nothing written between the mentor and the mentee, you have documented that they're going on this outing.
Yes.
You have it.
Yes.
And I think that's so important because sometimes people will say, oh, I didn't agree to that, or I didn't say that.
Yes.
And so I would think that it's important to have a record
Yes.
of all activity. And that could be another thing too, when I said to you, what is the hesitation? Sometimes people are really nervous with having the responsibility of someone else's child because parents sometimes can be difficult. I mean, we see what happens with parents in sports, and particularly when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see the worst in an individual. So I think sometimes people might be thinking, I don't want a crazy parent on my hand, but you said that your intake, when you're matching people up, you pretty much know.
And each party agrees to the match. So the parents agree, the child agrees, the big agrees. They both meet each other before they get matched. So they can kind of get a sense of who they're going to be matched with holistically, not just the child and the big, but they're going to see who the family is as well. And that's a big part of also our match support person is really there to be that person who will champion for both parties, who will advocate for the parents, advocate for the big, and kind of help,
So that would be the person so you committed for a year, but you decided that this parent, maybe you're not dealing well with the parent, or maybe you're trying everything, but you don't feel that the child is connecting well with you, but you want to honor your commitment. Would you be able to communicate that you'd like to change, or do you not recommend in changing midstream? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so our match support person is really there to help guide our bigs. They'll really do a lot of questions and try to really dig what might be the disconnect or what's not making this a cohesive match. They'll try to give them suggestions of how they could maybe try to improve. Sometimes we have kids who are really shy and matches, and their bigs are really extroverted, and they're a little thrown off by the kid who's not very talkative and just wants to sit and read a book. And it's our job to kind of help people see that kids come in all different shapes and sizes and all different types of personalities and needs, and it's important to try and navigate that and see if there is a way that you can connect. We matched you for certain reasons, so are there ways that you can bring up, let's say they were matched because they both like plants, but so far in their match time they haven't done anything plant related. We suggest going to a nursery or just looking out at some plants, trying to figure out some creative ways to see how that would go on and try to continue and finish out the year. If it really doesn't feel like it's a good match by the end of the year and both parties are really feeling uncomfortable, we never want to keep people in a match that just is not right, because when you're in that place and you don't feel comfortable, it's not beneficial for you and it's not beneficial for the child.
Exactly. And I mean, let's face it, I'm sure it's difficult if you have never been a parent and you don't have children. I mean, those are some things that even as parents we deal with. You're doing an activity with your child and you think it's wonderful and everything's going well until your child says to me, can we do something else? I'm bored.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, well, this is fun. Why are you bored? So I'm sure that you're able, or this person is able, the support person, to provide feedback that in my conversation with Johnny, he really appreciates you and really does love the time with you. He's just a little shy.
Exactly.
And so I think having that feedback, because let's face it, the adult that gets involved, you want to know that you're making a difference. Volunteers want to know that just in general. Whenever you volunteer for something, you want to know that you're not just wasting your time, but you are making a difference in some way.
Yeah.
So I would think that that type of feedback is always useful.
Yeah. I will also say that, a great benefit of volunteering and becoming a mentor is that you're going to be working with kids, and kids are completely different from how we're living our lives as adults right now. And it's a great way to channel your inner child. It's a great way to explore the city in ways that you might not be exploring it as an adult. And it's a real interesting time to have an introspective perspective of how you're navigating through life, because you can see how a child's going through life.
Exactly.
And we hear from a lot of our mentors how shocked they were that there was so much more benefits to them versus, as well as having, the benefits for their mentee.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like hanging out with children is valuable. I think that they bring out the best in us because of how they look up to us. And I think that as you engage with them, you find out there's so much that you can share together, because children are just so aware, particularly today.
Yeah.
They're so observant and they're so knowledgeable. And I think that for adults connecting with children, not having had children, they would be amazed at how much information these kids really know.
Yeah.
So that's hugely important too. I'm wondering, this community is a multicultural area. What about children who are bilingual? How are you finding many mentors for them, or would you identify for me what are the areas of most need for your agency? I think it's important that we use this time that we have, where we have an audience viewing. Where do you really need mentors the most? What age groups and what demographics?
Sure. So our community-based program, which is our general program, which is where you meet with the child for 2 to 3 times, is where we need the most need for volunteers. One of the things that we're looking for is just more diverse range of folks. We're trying to find people in the community, find people who are close by. I think we found folks who have opted to volunteer who are in surrounding communities, but we're looking for folks here, folks who are committed in the community.
So this, I'm hearing from you, this is a community, New Bedford, where you definitely need more volunteers.
Yes, we have
across the
about
board.
51 kids who are on our wait list right now.
Oh, you have a waiting list.
Yes.
If you're watching today, there is a waiting list of 51 children aged 7 to 12, just looking for somebody to give them a minimal amount of your time. 2 to 3 activities a month, 2 hours. So if you're watching today's program and you're retired and you're thinking and you're bored because you thought retirement was going to be exciting and you're finding out you need more to do, this is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to make a difference, bring some joy, bring some knowledge, information into a child's life. And so if somebody is watching today and they're saying, you're speaking to me, I want to do that, who do they call? How do they get involved? What do they do?
Go to our website, emassbigs, that's EMASSBIGS.org.
Okay.
And you've got more information on that website if you want to get more information, or you can go and there's a apply to be a big, and you start your journey there. Your first session will be a little bit more information, and then you'll start your journey as interview and getting matched.
And if I am not computer literate, is there a telephone number? Is there intake that's done over the telephone?
Yes, so intake can be done over the phone. We have a phone number. You can reach me either by email or phone. And my phone number is 508-409-1903 if anybody needs to reach me and have any support with that. But we try to make it as accessible.
Mm-hmm. And they are able to take these children, if they want to take them to a play or to an event at the Z or an art class at an art museum. They can do any type of activity as long as mom or dad says it's okay.
And it's a great point that you make. We're always looking for other community organizations and other places to support us in that way of, we have a couple partners like Buttonwood Zoo that has a discounted entrance fee. And so we're really trying to find different activities within the community that kids can and their mentors can go to.
That's a wonderful suggestion. So if you're an agency and you're watching today, maybe you want to host a Big Brother, Big Sister Day where mentors can bring their mentees to your museum or to your agency to engage in some activity.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. To influence a child is just something that I said earlier, the child will always remember that, but so will you.
Yes.
So will you when a child, it's no different than a parent. When a child comes to you and tells you that they are what they are because of you, or thank you for how you raised me, to have a child say thank you for the time, I value the time that you shared with me. It made a difference in my life. That's huge.
And that's it.
That's
it's really
huge.
just the time, spending that time. I don't think there's ever going to be too many mentors or adults in a child's life for them to have. And having somebody who's there, who's consistent, who's available to try some new things with that child, is really, it's about the little things. As we like to say, it takes little to be big. It takes big to be little.
You're right. And when you say that, children oftentimes, it takes a village. Children do need more than mom and dad in their life, because sometimes we've all, as those of us that are parents, have seen our children open up in some ways to other people in ways that they may not open up to a parent.
Yeah.
Sometimes because you know your parents so well, I don't want to tell them this, or they will get mad at me if they know about this, but you feel with that mentor or that auntie or that other person that you can open up to them. So I think that children today are very fragile.
Yeah.
They're very fragile, and I feel from the parent perspective, the more people that your children can open up to in a positive way in which it is helping them with their mental health and well-being, that's a great thing. And we should encourage that.
And they have a lot of potential, and I think that's one of our big mottos is, we are defenders of potential. And that's just what we want to bring in our volunteers for, is to continue that defense of that potential.
Defenders of potential, I like that. And there are a lot of children who have such great potential, but unfortunately some have not. Some are born with everything, all the support in the world that they need, and some we have to be there to protect them and defend their right to the opportunity to be successful as well. So with that, wow, 75 years, and we got to keep this going.
Yes.
We got to keep this going, because future generations need all of these programs that were around when I was a little girl, you were a little girl. The needs are still even greater. The needs are even greater, because that village doesn't look like it used to look.
Yes.
So with that, thank you, Rebecca, and I wish you huge success in your new role. I think you are the right person at the right time.
Thank you.
For this position, and just want you to know that you can always come here on this show to let us know. And how about this? If as a result of this show, you start getting calls and you start getting more mentors, I would love to do another show with you, and maybe bring on some of the mentors and the mentees so that the community can know just how valuable this resource is.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
That sounds great.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. And thank you for watching. And remember, adding value to a child's life is a great thing to do. And if you have some extra time and you want to hang out with a 7 to 12-year-old, please call the number on our screen today and get involved. Change your life. Thank you for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed today's program. See you next time. Welcome to Neighborhood Update. Today is somewhat of a special show because of the age of my guest. My guest today is just 10 years old, Calvin Dos Santos. And I learned about Calvin when I read an article. Calvin is a New Bedford resident and he is an artist. And he was selling his artwork in the neighborhood. And his mother was not aware that he was doing that. So it's an interesting story, and I thought I'd invite Calvin here today to find out more about this young man. Welcome, Calvin.
Thank you.
Welcome today to Neighborhood Update.
Thanks.
And this is your mom, Denise Martins?
Yep. This
Denise,
is my good
welcome.
mom. Thank you.
So Calvin, as I said in the opening, I thought that was just an interesting story. And the reason why it was interesting to me is because you discovered something that you really love and are passionate about. And you found a way to make money off of this thing that you love, to do more of it, right?
Yeah.
So how did your mom find out that you were selling art in the neighborhood?
At first, I did not tell her. I told my stepdad, my brother, but I told my brother and my stepdad to not tell her yet, and I'll tell her tomorrow. So when she picked me up from the Boys and Girls Club, which I go to, I told her right there. And then like 4 hours later, she called us for dinner and she said I could not do it no more. So I looked at my brother and I hired him.
So your mom said that you couldn't do it anymore. Do you
unless I had an adult.
Okay, so do you understand why your mom was concerned about that?
Yeah, because sometimes you cannot trust people.
Absolutely, you can't. So we like the fact that, do you know what an entrepreneur is?
Entrepreneur? It's somebody that build their own business. They work for themselves, started out by themselves.
So you demonstrated that you understand what that is. Is that something that you aspire to be?
Yeah. My dad, he said that one day you can be an entrepreneur just like me. And I decided to start while I'm young.
Well, there's no better time to start. So you know, and that's a really big word. And you know that because there's somebody in your family who is that. So tell me about, and I know that you brought some of your artwork here today,
Yeah,
so
I
we're
brought
going to
some
show
of
it. And it looks like you're really,
Yep.
you really enjoy doing facial portraits, sketches. And you have some of your sketches here of some celebrities, and I'll be honest with you, I will not know all
Some
of
of
these
these,
celebrities
some of
because
these.
I'm kind of old.
I know,
So-
like, you go way back, but right now we're in
So this one that I'm holding up, who is this?
King Von.
King Von?
Yep. He's a famous rapper.
Okay, he is a rapper.
That's just a random picture I did when I was like 6. That was like a random picture I did when I
So
was
you
6.
started doing your artwork at what age?
Probably at 6, yeah, 6. Started at 6, and then I kept on going when I was 8.
This one I recognize. This is Tupac Shakur.
Yep.
Very
Tupac.
good. This is a very good likeness of him. And when you, this is all freehand. You do not, there's no tracing.
And also I did a little bit of something right there on his neck. And there used to be a different tattoo right there, but I decided to put my name. It's a little
Well,
Easter egg.
every artist should sign their name on all of their work, and so I'm sure you do that.
That one was just a random one, honestly. Like some of these are just random, honestly. Honestly, like full random. I don't
Very
understand.
random.
And that one, I started it out as a stick figure, and I kept on making it more and more realistic. I added long hair because one day I want to have long hair too.
And this one is another familiar. This is Ice Cube,
Yep.
the actor. Very
Ice
good,
Cube.
very good likeness of him. You do a
Looks
really
exactly
good
like
job on your shading and your sketching. Do you have art supplies at home?
Yep. I have some markers, some pencils. I also have some pencils right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I use these two for two very different reasons.
Explain to me what you use them for.
This one is for like thick hair and like thick beards, like just like how I did Ice Cube. Ice Cube, I had to use this one for the beard and for the eyebrows. While this one right here, wait, this one's talking real loud again. This one, I use it for one main reason. It's for like eyes, the nose. It's so like that, it's much better because if I use that one, it's just gonna make the lines look more thicker. And I do not want it to look like that. So I usually do it with this pencil. You know, it looks better and it looks more shiny.
You brought quite a number of drawings today. So in your free time, rather than spending a lot of time on the computer, is this where you spend most of your time?
Yep. Most of my time is all spent on these drawings.
Where do you go to school?
Pulaski.
Pulaski, that's a very good school. And I believe that Pulaski has a very good art program.
Yeah, and I like it.
You do? So you were selling these drawings because, why were you trying to raise money?
Because I really wanted to go to art school.
You
That
want to
was
go,
my dream.
that is your dream, to go to art school and to take art classes?
Yep, I had a dream like Martin Luther King.
Well, dreams do come true, right?
Some of the times.
And as a result of the newspaper reporting on what you were doing, some opportunities did come your way, didn't they? So tell us about some of those opportunities that have happened.
So some of the opportunities when I was done and I realized that a bunch of people wanted to ask my mom about, like, they wanted to talk to me. Some of them kept on trying to reach out to my mom. A bunch of people wanted me to draw for them. And plus, when the lady that took a picture of me, I did not realize at first. Because when I was done selling her one of my drawings, I said bye. And when I was about to turn around, I drove a little bit more far. And then I realized that she was while I was driving away, this was her, like texting something, but I don't know what it was.
Mom,
but when I realized that she was actually taking a picture of me, I said, okay, I'm not gonna put up a fight, but it's okay. I don't mind.
Well, Mom, he definitely isn't shy. I think aside from being an artist, he probably could be an actor or, well, he says he wants to be an entrepreneur. Very personable. So, Mom, is this how did the story get out? Was it one of
a neighbor?
A neighbor?
I believe she lives down the street from us.
No, she does not live down the street. She was like across from us, Mommy.
Okay, across from us. And it was on a Saturday, it was on a birthday party, and then one of my coworkers sent me that link. And I was looking at it for a minute, I was lost. I was like, why does this backpack looks familiar? And his brother was sitting right under me. So I showed it to them. I said, Calvin, is this you? That's when he said, yeah, it was him.
Calvin, what I love about this story and what you did is, oftentimes in life, we have to create our own opportunity. There are things that we want to do, and sometimes people are waiting for opportunity to happen. But what I like about you is you said, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to find a way to make it happen. And so that's a really good quality to have.
I'm not waiting for opportunity.
You're not waiting for opportunities.
And
So, Mom, where does this talent for art come from? Because for a 10-year-old, he actually does have the gift, have the talent. Where do you think it comes from? Are you an artist?
yeah,
You
I
are.
enjoy painting.
So, Calvin, do you realize that in this city we have several art museums? Have you and your mom ever gone around the city to visit some of our art museums?
No,
we're
we
not
never.
too familiar with New Bedford. We've been around here for like 5 years. We do go to the school department every year for the art museum. The art show. Sometimes his stuff goes up.
We missed it this
So,
year.
We also have a public art museum, the New Bedford Art Museum, which is in downtown New Bedford.
Ooh.
And that would be a wonderful place. There's always exhibits going on in there. That would be a wonderful place for you and your mom to visit. And one of the things that within the city of New Bedford, the city always tries to find opportunities to bring activities to children for free. In our city, we have the summer play in the park. I don't know where you live, but if you go on the city's park and recreation website, you will see that free lunches are served in many of our parks. And also, the New Bedford Art Museum, Calvin, goes to those parks. So that's an opportunity for you to engage in art activities for free. And also, there is an instructor that will be there with the art mobile. So that's something you definitely want to look into. So when you grow up, is this what you hope to do? Do you hope to be an artist? Do you want to have your own art gallery, art studio, or do you want to teach? What do you think you want to do?
I'm just gonna be my own man. I'm just gonna start having my own gallery. I'm just gonna keep on painting. I'm gonna even teach kids. I'm gonna even teach adults. You know, I want to teach them my passion.
That's great.
I'm not gonna let them give up.
I think that's amazing. You know, many people don't find their passion so early in life. At 10 years old, to say, this is what I love and this is what I want to do, chances are you will be very successful at it and will achieve exactly what you want to do. So stay encouraged and don't give up. What do you like so much about art? How does it make you feel?
It makes me happy. I feel good when I just do it. Each time when I feel like I'm sad, the first thing I do is grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil, and I just start getting down to town.
That's pretty amazing. And you know, I'm sure, Mom, there's a lot of parents who cannot get their children away from that computer.
I was actually the whole thing. He started doing this to actually prove it to me that he's good at art, because his brother plays basketball and I wanted him to do outside sport instead of staying at home. So he decided he wanted to do art instead. He kept saying, Mommy, if I go out to play sports, I'm gonna break my hands. My hands is for art only.
My hands are gonna look like this at first, and then I'm not even gonna be able to use them anymore.
You're actually
Necessary.
exercising your hands. You're using your hands and you're exercising your
I'm
hands.
using my hands to do something, at least, so like that I don't need to do sports. I do sports, the first thing I'm doing on that field is Wakanda forever.
So art is something that's your favorite subject, obviously. That's something that you really love.
Yes.
How well are you in your other subjects, and what other subjects do you like?
The main one I like art, but sometimes I like science, and the next one after science is math, you know.
That's not surprising. That's not surprising because
science, we dissected some owl pellets. I will throw up. When my teacher said that when I was done, we found some skulls, so I tried drawing some of the skulls. It was funny.
Well, you know, it's been proven that children that are very strong in art usually do well in their academics. And having this conversation with you, I can see that you're a very smart young boy. Do you like to read also? Do you read books?
Yeah, I sometimes read. We have a few books at my house, you know. I sometimes like to read though.
And so in doing your artwork, it's summertime now, and you know your mom was saying she wanted you to do activities outdoors. You can do art anywhere. So do you do
Yeah.
your artwork outdoors in a park or?
Yeah, I sometimes do it outdoors. I sometimes do it at parks. It's fun.
When I asked you earlier about opportunities, I think I had heard that you would be selling some of your artwork at an upcoming festival.
On the 28th at the
Mom,
Reggae
tell us
Feast.
about that.
He will be at the Reggae Feast on the 28th of July and also on August 25th. He got both days donated to him, which that's awesome.
That is
I'm
awesome.
excited for him, you know.
So
I
for-
appreciate the Reggae Festival for inviting him.
That is
It's a big
excellent.
thing.
So for somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, you're already getting the feel for that because you're going to have your own table, I'm sure,
Yes.
Yep, I'm
yes.
gonna have my own table 2 times a Saturday at least.
for 2 Saturdays. Well, I'm going to have to make sure that I find my way to get there because I love what I see. I love what you're doing. And one of these days, we're going to look back to this moment and say, I'm going to be able to say, I remember when he was 10 years old and I interviewed that young man, and then I won't be able to afford your artwork. I'm going to get some of your work now while it's affordable. Do you think that makes good sense?
Yep, all of these right now are just $2 each. That's all I
$2?
Yep. Each time when I go around and I just tell them $2 each, some people just keep on giving me $5 bills, $10
Well,
bills.
you know,
like crazy.
that's a really smart businessman when you think about it, because it seems like what people are saying is they feel that the quality of your work
It's not worth
is much
$2.
more. Yeah, it's much more than $2. So you're getting it anyway. So they probably are even more impressed with you because they're saying, wow, they're thinking you're not in it for the money.
But guess what? Sometimes when I tell them $2, I'm sure what they do sometimes, I just be showing them and they're like, only $2? Only $2? Dang. That's all they be like. And they say that these are worth more. But in the future, it's gonna cost way higher.
Well, you know, what I like about that is it shows that you're humble. You're humble. And you're making your work affordable to everyone. Because I think just about everybody can come up with $2. So how do you feel about coming on the show today and being able to show your work and to talk about it?
I feel happy, you know. I feel mostly excited, you know. I feel excited at being on TV.
Well, you know, I think it's important in life for young people to find something that they like to do that gives them the feelings that you talked about, joy and happiness. And I bet you feel really peaceful when you're in your room or wherever you are and you're creating. So you're yawning now. Does that mean that this conversation is just about over?
Nope. I'm just a little bit tired because I had to wake up early.
Well, you probably should. I don't know, Mom. Maybe you should check in that room. He may be up a little too late doing this artwork.
I'm not up too late, no, because today I was at my tia's house, and I went to sleep. I went to sleep early actually, and we had to wake up early.
Well,
Plus, I hate waking up early.
Well, Calvin, I thank you and your mom for coming in today and for sharing your talent with us. And as you go forward, I wish you great success
Thank you.
in doing what you love. And I'm sure as a result of your being on this show today, who knows, there may be more opportunities that come your way. So always remember to keep your options open and to work very hard at the things that you love to do. Great things will follow.
Sure will.
So thank you again, Calvin.
You're welcome.
and
Thank you so
Mom,
much for having
Denise,
us.
thank you so
Appreciate it.
much. Thank you for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed today's program. We'll see you next time on Neighborhood Update.